Hi, second graders. Today for our math lesson, we are going to be practicing fractions. Now, I know that earlier in our unit, in Unit 7, we also practiced fractions, but today we're going to dive a little bit deeper into 3 different ways that we can show and represent a fraction. Now, there are a few different ways that we can write fractions. We can draw a picture using something that looks like this. Now, this is what we practiced earlier in this unit, where we had to cut a shape into equal parts. We can also write fractions using numbers and number names. We've seen that in 2 different units, with numbers just into the tens place and then numbers into the hundreds place. Let's take a look at our first slide. Now, as you can see, I have 3 different areas. I have picture, fraction, and fraction name. Now, let's first start with the picture. I think that the picture is the place that we need to first begin our journey. Now, for this picture, you'll see I have a square. I'm going to cut my square into 4 equal pieces. Oh, I'm going to move this line over just a little bit. Now, those pieces look pretty equal. I tried my best to make them equal. Now, with one of my colors here, I'm going to color in one of the 4 pieces. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect since I'm not here for an art contest, but next, we're going to move along to the fraction piece. Now, if you notice on the fraction piece, I put a line right here. That is because when we write a fraction, we need to put a line in the middle, and we have a top number and a bottom number. Now, those numbers have a very important name. The top number is called the numerator, and the bottom number is called the denominator. Those might seem like really big math words, and they are, but we're going to be using them for the next few years, so it is important to learn that the numerator is on the top and the denominator is on the bottom. Now, in this fraction that we just made over here, we colored in one of the pieces. So I'm going to put 1 on the top. That's how many pieces I colored in, just 1. Now, the bottom number, you might say, oh, well, the rest of the pieces, there's 1, 2, 3 pieces left, so I should put a 3 there. But if I read that fraction, that says 1/3. And do I have my square cut into thirds in this problem? No, I don't. The bottom number is actually the total number of squares. So there's not just 3 squares in our picture. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 pieces. Even though I only colored in 1, the bottom number is for the total number of pieces. There's 4 pieces in our drawing. Now, when I read this fraction, I read it like this: 1/4. Can you say that with me? 1/4. And when I write the fraction name, I can write it just like that. 1/4. Do you see how I wrote it out in words? Now, it's not 1/4. Since it's a fraction, we say 1/4 with a TH at the end. We also put a little hyphen in between when we have a fraction. Let's try another fraction. Now, let's start with our picture. This picture is a triangle, and I'm going to cut the triangle in half. and I'm going to very quickly color in one of those pieces. Now, how much did I color in? I colored in 1/2. Now, let's go over to our fraction. If you remember, our numerator on the top is how many pieces I colored in. I colored in 1 piece. And the bottom number is the denominator. That is the total number of pieces. Let's see how many there are. There's 1, 2 pieces. So my fraction reads 1/2. That's how I read that. So now I can go down to the bottom for the name and write 1/2. You can't say 1/2. That doesn't make any sense. When there's only 2 pieces and we split it, we say that we cut it in half. So if the denominator's a 2, we have to use the word half. Ooh, this is a fun one. Look at this big long rectangle here. I'm going to cut this into quite a few pieces. Excuse my crooked lines here. My goodness. I'll straighten those out here in just a second. Let's get them a little bit straighter. It's easier sometimes to draw a line than with a pencil, but sometimes the mouse goes a little bit crazy when we try on the computer. All right, that's pretty good. It's not the best, but it's pretty good. Okay, now let's color in some pieces. Okay, second grade. So let's go over to our fraction. Let's start at the top. The top is how many pieces did I color in? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I colored in 5 pieces. And how many total pieces are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ooh, 5 out of 8. Do you know how we would read that, second grade? We would say 5/8. Watch how I write it. 5, then I put my hyphen, 8ths. Great job, second grade. So no matter what type of fraction I make, I can write it in picture form, fraction form, and I can write the fraction name. Let's try one more together. Our last picture is a circle. Now, do you remember how we can cut a circle into 3 equal pieces? It's a little bit tricky, isn't it? There we go, second grade. Let me get rid of that little teeny line there. Now, if you remember, if I have a circle and I want to make 3 pieces, I have to make it look like this. That's the only way to do it. Now, I think today I'm going to color in 1 piece, 2 pieces. Oh, I like that. Okay. All right, let's go over to our fraction. How many pieces did I color in? 2 pieces. And how many pieces are there total? 1, 2, 3 pieces. Ooh, because my circle is cut into thirds. Do you see my circle? It has 3 pieces, which means it's in thirds. Let's write our fraction name. 2/3, because I colored in 2 pieces and my shape is cut into thirds.